Hey, welcome back to the channel, my fellow weather junkies. I'm your host, meteorologist Greg Majeski, your trusted weather source here, bringing you weather without all that social media hype here on your Friday, February 7th, 2025. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're tracking here for today. Is an extremely busy flow across the country. And boy, I mean, we're talking very, very busy over the next couple of weeks. In fact, potentially 6 different storms to track over that duration. So buckle up, we're in store for a pretty wild ride. And still looking at potential, maybe some severe weather with at least one of these systems. We're gonna watch this very closely. Of course, it'll change from day to day, so we'll keep you updated. Now, before we get going, first I wanna thank the new followers here on the page. And if you haven't yet done so, what you waiting for, my friend? Please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content. And as always, please leave me a comment down below. Give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate your support. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our satellite imagery here for this morning. Things quieted down. We had some severe weather yesterday across Kentucky and Tennessee. Nothing like that expected for today. Light precipitation over here Chicago. Got some snows in the Intermountain region. And actually got a little bit of rain down in Los Angeles here for this morning. Getting a little bit of a breakout here on the West Coast, but don't get used to it, folks. We got some more rain and some more storm systems coming your way out here on the West Coast as well. Now, looking at the big picture here across the country, we got a fast-moving system out here in the west that's going to bring in some snows here across the northern tier, and eventually that'll make it up into the northeast. We'll show you that here in a second. Got some fog down along the Gulf Coast area. Red flag warnings there. That's what that color is. It means dry conditions. Going to watch out for wildfires. A little bit windy out here in the west as well for today. All right, here's what we got going on in the big picture. The rain, cold air still up here along the northern tier. Look at these temperatures here, minus 11. Ouch, minus 8, that's pretty cold. Pretty mild here across the deep south. We'll continue with that false spring here across the south. That's going to continue for definitely a few more days here, especially the southeast. And again, we're going to be watching this system here. This will be the one we're going to be tracking. That's the first of what could potentially be 6 different storm systems here across the country. Let's go ahead and talk about Los Angeles a little bit here. So we're getting a little bit of light rain here down here towards Southern California. At least not overly much right now. So obviously after the wildfires and stuff, we have to worry about mudslides. But right now, this is not going to cause too much of a problem other than some wet road conditions here for the morning commute. Now let's go ahead and talk about the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. We're going to be looking at the day 1 outlook here for today. The good news is we're not expecting any severe weather for today. It looks like the weekend should remain quiet. So your day 1 showing maybe a few rumbles of thunder out here in the west, out in toward Idaho, and out to areas of Utah, maybe a little part of Wyoming as well. And we do have a day 2. I don't have anything for day 3, but I do have a day 2 thunderstorm outlook here coming into areas of the Ohio River Valley. So Ohio down toward Tennessee and over toward West Virginia, maybe a few rumbles of thunder in there. So nothing to show you out there on the day 3. Day 3 is quiet for the moment. Now, how about the excessive rainfall? No, that's actually quiet as well for the next 3 days. So at least through the weekend, we're not expecting any kind of significant flooding conditions, but that will change going into next week. We look at our latest hazards outlook. We got a little bullseye there. Some heavier rains there across the southeast coming from Kentucky into Texas and into Alabama and Georgia. So that area will need to be watched closely. We got some heavy snows up here, in between here, a little freezing rain, which we're going to see this weekend. Cold frigid temperatures across the northern tier. And of course, we're going to see the heavy rain back here on the west coast as well as we go into next week. So things will begin to change. Again, a very progressive, a very fast pattern coming at us. So we're going to first take a look at the high-resolution model data, okay? We're going to be looking at that first. Here, it's going to take you through till about midnight Saturday night going into Sunday. So what we're going to be watching really is this storm system here. This thing's going to be a fast mover as it's going to kind of chug along the northern tier here. So watch this as we go through the day here for today as it kind of pulls out of the Intermountain region, kind of riding there along the Dakotas and in through Minnesota. There'll be a few showers here with this old boundary kind of meandering across the southeast. That may set up a few showers there, but nothing too widespread. But you see that rain and the precipitation come out of here as we go in from Saturday, late Saturday. So this is going into Saturday afternoon. And look what we're getting here again. Oh, Lord, we're getting more freezing rain in that same area that just got hit just a couple days ago with freezing rain. We're going to do it again. And looks like some more snows here across the northeast. One of the snowiest winters I've seen up in the northeast in quite some time. And that pattern continues with this storm system moving on out. So again, that's storm system number 1. I'm counting maybe 4 or 5 more behind this one. We're going to have to watch and track closely over the next 10 to 14 days. All right, let's talk about the jet stream. The jet stream is what's driving the weather. It's a very fast flow here across the country, okay? Now, we're going to tap some of this cold air to come on in, and the European is hinting at maybe finally breaking down that ridge across the southeast, the warmer air down in the southeast eventually. Now, what I look at when I'm looking at jet stream is I'm looking for, is there one system that's really going to stand out that's going to bring us any potential clash of the air masses between the warm and the cold? Right now, it's a very progressive flow right through next weekend, a very fast-looking flow. But as we go later into time, you start seeing that this is the polar vortex low here. You see the low here. We're tapping some of this polar air kind of diving down into this, and we start to see the jet stream take a little bit different configuration. And when it starts to give you that big sharp trough look, that's when you got to watch out for that potential for some severe weather. So this is not looking bad. We got one little system here going in toward Thursday that's kind of kicking out. So we're talking about this dip right in here. It's going in next week. This is not looking too bad of a system right there to watch, but it's the one going into the following weekend that's got me concerned, going into the 15th and 16th. Look at this dip coming out the west coast, and as this slides in. So this is a very pronounced dip in the jet stream here coming on in. It also takes in a little bit of what we call a negative tilt. So when I say a negative tilt, it's tilting backward like this. So when it does something like that, that means you got additional spin in the atmosphere. You got to watch for potential severe weather as well as tornadoes with this. Now, the change from yesterday is this trough was hanging back here yesterday. Now it's kind of shifted a little bit further off toward the east. So, and that's obviously makes sense. It will change from run to run. This is still 228 hours out. So that's something I'll be watching very closely here over the next couple of weeks. This slides on out. And then we get another dive here coming in here. Here's another one going in toward the 20th, another shot coming on down. So this is something I've seen over yesterday's run and today's run, is that we might get a chance to break down this warm weather across the southeast as we go deeper into the month of February, okay? It's been sliding back to the right, but it's now starting to lock in on like the 16th, 17th now, and we'll see if that run holds for this afternoon or not. Then we'll break that down. So let's go ahead and talk about the precipitation. Let's go ahead and look at this again. We talked about storm system number one. Here's the number one. This is the one coming up into the northeast. So this is the one here coming into your Saturday night and into Sunday. You obviously got snows for the interior of New England. We got freezing rain once again across Pennsylvania. So that's storm system number one. So let's bring this forward here. Let's look for the next one. What's our next one coming on in here? Here's our next system here coming across the plains. We got snow on this. We got a little freezing rain on that going toward the 11th right now. Southeast just stays warm right here with some rain into the southeast, picking up for Tuesday, and that'll continue. This front will slide to the southeast once again, and it'll just stall there. What we're seeing across the southeast, you notice these lines here, these are isobars. We've got some ridging of high pressure that's been protecting the southeast, and that's going to continue at least through the middle of next week, the way it's looking right now, and maybe into the weekend. You got some snows here across New England once again. We got some more snows back here off toward the west we got to watch closely here. And as we go forward in time, this again brings another storm system. Here's our third one sliding into the northeast. Now this one looks like it'll be a little bit further north, so the big cities look like they're all rain, but we got snow on the backside of this and going into southern Canada. And we do also see another progressive storm here out into the west coast coming in. That's going to bring some heavy rains down the coast, even into Los Angeles as we go in toward Thursday of next week. So we're talking about the 13th and going into Valentine's Day. So this storm system moves on up to the north and east. And it'll be that storm system that we're going to watch as it crosses the country here going into the 15th and 16th, with that big jet stream dip I just showed you. We're going to watch that closely as that may fire off some severe weather here going into Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to watch the Mid-South here going into Saturday and Sunday for severe weather. We'll get some heavy snows on the back part of this as this low gets cranked up. And it does get cranking pretty good in that configuration. The pressure drops down to 976 millibars. So you're looking at pretty good snows here across the Great Lakes. It looks like all rain for the big cities as this big warm front punches up to the north, but you definitely got some cold air coming on the backside of this. Here's another storm system coming in here on the west coast. So again, that's our fourth storm system there. And then we'll watch the cold air. We got the polar vortex low sitting here across the Great Lakes, so some pretty cold air there. And we'll watch yet another system kick on out as we go beyond this. Now, obviously, we're beyond 10-day. This is all speculative. We're kind of looking for model trends, but this is another storm system. Here comes another one into the northeast, and this one plows into the south. You see the 540 line here diving down, well down to the south. The other one actually brought us down too. So we got two different shots of cold air coming into the southeast that'll kind of back things off from the unusually warm fall, spring, fake spring, whatever you want to call it, we've been having here over the last week across the southeast. So let's go ahead and talk about the precipitation here as we're going to look for the next 72 hours. Not looking bad over the weekend. Again, we didn't have any heavy rain threats over the next 72 hours. And when you see these totals here, you're not seeing a whole lot here. So we just got some rains here across the areas of the Ohio River Valley. Get some decent rains out in the West Coast, but really not looking too bad there. Now, as we go ahead and take this forward into time, going out to 240, again, you see the rains kick up quite significantly, especially out there on the West Coast. So we go out for 10 days. Heavy rains here across the deep south, the Ohio River Valley. Look at the West Coast. It lights up like a Christmas tree, especially Southern California. Mudslides will be a problem there. And then kind of looking at the trend going all the way out to 360 out for the next 2 weeks. It's just very wet for a lot of the country. Again, progressive flow, a lot of storm systems, a lot of opportunities for heavy rain there. Now, in the short term, we're going to have to deal with the fact that we got some icing that's going to be coming in this weekend for areas there across Pennsylvania. So this is the area there. It doesn't look quite as bad as the last one, but you're still looking at upwards of near a ½ inch of freezing rain there, and that's enough to do power outages. Obviously, the roads become extremely treacherous. So Saturday, Sunday across Pennsylvania, Maryland, parts of Virginia, definitely Ohio, not a good time to travel for sure. You want to stay off those roads when they ice up once again going into this upcoming weekend. The good news is that big ice storm that we're showing yesterday that was way north, it's backed off that for now, but we'll continue to watch that closely to see if that changes. As far as the snow is concerned, we'll start out here in the east, okay? Again, I'm going to take you out for the next 10 days here, kind of look at the trends here. You see, again, you see the storms. You get 1, here's 2, here's 3, there's 4. I mean, quite a bit. You're talking about some heavy snows up here. We're talking upwards of 2 feet across the interior sections of New England. We get snows down here across areas of the Mid-Atlantic and, of course, back here into the plains as well. And it's just taking us all the way out to 360 with the trends. And you got that one big storm that likes to fire up toward the end there. And you're seeing pretty significant snows back across the Ohio River Valley in Missouri. Now, that's always subject to change. That's really far out. I usually don't like going beyond 10 days. But right now, I'm kind of looking at the forecast trends. Definitely very snowy over that period. And look out toward the West Coast here. I mean, you're talking the Sierra Nevada, obviously, with this parade of storms here, upwards of 60 inches of snow showing up out there. A lot of the interior sections out here in the Mountain West are seeing some pretty significant snows, upwards of 2 to 3 feet. So very active, very snowy here over the next couple of weeks, that's for sure. Let's track the cold air. We got several cold air shots to look at. Again, that red and that orange, that's above normal. You go into the blues, the greens, the purples, that's the below normal here stuff. So again, we're staying very mild here across the weekend. You definitely see a cold front here trying to cut down here. There's our cold front, trying to beat back some of that warm air across the southeast. It tries to beat it down, but boy, it can't get into Alabama and Georgia, that's for sure. It's just kind of, I'm not going to hold on here. It's just holding on to that cold air. It looks like a little bit of a wedge here trying to come in across the northeast Georgia mountains there, but you see a cold shot here across the middle of the country. We see that purple. You're talking about temperatures some 30 degrees below normal with that. That's definitely some Arctic air intrusion there going in toward the 11th. But again, the southeast is protected right through the 12th. And then we'll watch as we go into this weekend. It comes on through going to the 13th briefly. We'll get a cool down. At least that's what's showing here going Thursday and going into Friday for right now. And it does cool things down across the east going into the 14th, going into Valentine's Day. You can see a little bit of a warm-up out here in the west here on Valentine's Day. So going into the following weekend, that's that big storm system we're going to watch. We're going to quickly warm it back up here across the east with that next storm system coming in here and a very sharp dividing line. So this is where I'll be watching, again, severe weather going into Saturday night into Sunday, potentially. Again, this is still 9-10 days out here. So we're talking about the 15th going into the 16th as we get the clash of that cold air plowing into that warmer air out ahead of it, going into the 15th and 16th. And then this pushes off toward the east and really cools things off going into the 16th and 17th. So 17th is what I was seeing yesterday, 16th, 17th. I'm seeing again today. So again, looking at forecast trends, okay? And I think if we see another one like that this afternoon, we might see some changes in the climate outlook. I'm going to show you that here in just a second here. But you got that cold shot, stays cold. You got a brief warm up here going on the 20th. This is a pretty good cold surge here coming down here on the 19th. And that's that other system. And that will once again bring down and cool down the temperatures there in the southeast. So it looks like the mild weather there in the southeast will eventually start coming to an end here in time. So let's go ahead and look at your climate outlook here. Again, this looks okay. I'm all right with this outlook here going from February 12th through the 16th. You're definitely seeing the warm weather here with that ridging off the southeast coast, warm, colder air there across the high plains and across the middle of the country. Where I think this may change is going out the 14th to the 20th, as we're seeing in the European, starting to see a trend here. That's what we're looking at for forecast trends. Does this break down? Right now, the Climate Center says, no, we're going to keep it mild for right now. But again, if the 12Z run that later today continues to show this cold down here, I think they chip this away once again. We'll watch that closely heading out toward the 20th. Again, very active flow. We're going to see very high precipitation amounts here on the West Coast and especially across the Southeast as we go in toward next week. And it looks like that trend kind of continues the 14th to the 20th, except for maybe here across parts of Texas where we'll see below normal precipitation. But a very active, progressive pattern here across the country. One thing's for sure, the drought index is going to be getting, that's been kind of shrinking across the country, will be definitely starting to look better, much improved as we go through next week. That is for sure. So a very, very active flow here, folks. You got best advice I can give you is really stay tuned for what's coming. Obviously, we got cold air, we got winter weather, we got ice, we got snow events, and obviously the potential for severe weather. A little bit of everything as we go in toward next week. So if you'd like to stay up on these latest updates, I do personally invite you to please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you learn on future content. And as always, please give me a comment, give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate you guys' support of my little channel here. All right, that's your update for now. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next update. Till then, you guys have a great weekend. Bye, guys.